Imagine going to the store and attempting to buy groceries, only to be told your card has been declined. You offer to pay with cash, but this store, like many in your local area, has banned it and is card only. As a result, you're unable to pay and forced to leave without the groceries you came for. As you exit the store, you start to get emails, messages, and calls from your utility providers. They haven't received payment for their services and are threatening to cut off your internet, electricity, water, and gas. You call your bank to try and figure out what's going on. After being put on hold for an hour, you finally get through to a customer service representative who tells you that all of your bank accounts have been closed and refuses to explain why your accounts were shut down. In just a few hours, your entire life has been turned upside down. The account that you rely on for purchasing all of life's essentials is gone, and you have no explanation, no recourse, and don't know what to do. After the shock has subsided, you decide that the best course of action is to open another bank account and start afresh. But as you apply for new accounts, you're hit with rejection after rejection. You realize that you haven't just lost the bank account that you currently rely on. You've been blacklisted from the entire banking sector and will never again be able to access the services that are necessary for commerce in the modern digital age. This terrifying scenario might sound like something that could only happen in a dystopian sci-fi novel, but for some people in the UK, it has become a reality. In June, former leader of the Brexit Party, Nigel Farage, revealed that he was facing what he described as serious political persecution by the banking sector in the UK.
I got a phone call a couple of months ago to say, "We are closing your accounts." I asked why. No reason was given. I was told a letter would come which would explain everything. The letter came through and simply said, "We are closing your accounts. We want to finish it all by a date which is around about now." I didn't quite know what to make of it. I complained. I emailed the chairman. A lackey phoned me to say that it was a commercial decision, which I have to say I don't believe for a single moment. So I thought, well, there we are. I'll have to go and find a different bank. I've been to 7 banks actually. Asked them all, could I have a personal and a business account? And the answer has been no in every single case. There is nothing irregular or unusual about what I do. The payments that go in and come out every month are pretty much the same. I maintain in my business account quite a big positive cash balance, which I guess with interest rates where they are, is pretty good for the bank too.
Farage said the debanking had made him feel like a non-person and posited 3 theories to explain why he believes the banking establishment is distancing itself from him. One of Farage's theories was that his role in championing Britain's exit from the European Union has made him a persona non grata in the banking circles. Farage speculated that his political standing may also have been a factor. Specifically, he claimed that a rule requiring banks to conduct additional scrutiny on accounts held by a, quote, politically exposed person, a designation that often applies to politicians and their families, may have caused his debanking. The rule is designed to guard against the possibility of foreign bribery, and Farage acknowledged the rationale behind such precautions. However, he emphasized that the additional compliance burden for the banks should be proportionate. Thirdly, Farage raised concerns about allegations that were made by Labour lawmaker Sir Chris Bryant in the previous year. Bryant claimed that Farage had received a substantial sum of money, specifically £548,573 from the state-controlled Russian media outlet Russia Today in 2018. Farage vehemently denied the assertion, saying he's, quote, never received any money from any sources with any link to Russia. Farage subsequently filed a subject access request with Coutts, the bank that closed his accounts, to find out why his accounts had been shuttered. Subject access requests are a legal right in the UK that allows citizens to obtain the personal information an organization holds on them upon request. The 40-page report Farage obtained in response to the subject access request indicated that Coutts hadn't debanked the former Brexit Party leader for anything related to his finances. In fact, the report admitted that Farage's economic contribution was sound and that his funds are, quote, sufficient to retain on a commercial basis. Instead, Coutts closed down Farage's account because his views, quote, do not align with our values. The bank made the decision after a, quote, reputational risk committee reviewed the report, which contained several reasons why Farage wasn't, quote, compatible with Coutts. The report cited Farage failing to align with the bank's ESG and diversity stance, his opposition to net zero, his support of tennis star Novak Djokovic, his support of former U.S. President Donald Trump, his criticism of King Charles III, which was made before Charles became king, and, quote, adverse press about Farage. Additionally, the report mentioned Brexit, a nominalization that refers to Britain's exit from the European Union 86 times, Chris Bryant twice, and Russia 144 times. Despite the repeated mentions of Russia, the report admitted that there's no evidence of Farage having any direct or indirect links to Russia. The report also claimed that the former Brexit Party leader is regarded as, quote, racist and xenophobic, an assertion that Farage described as an appalling slur. Not only does this report provide a chilling peek behind the curtain at the measures UK banks are using to justify the deplatforming of customers who don't fall in line with their view, but it also reveals that they're citing pro-censorship activist groups when making these decisions. Hope Not Hate, a UK activist group that supports deplatforming and banning books that they deem to be racist, is cited 6 times in the report in sections related to alleged, quote, racism and or xenophobia, gender issues, links to Trump, and conspiracy theories. Farage described the, quote, Stasi-style surveillance report as shocking and blasted Coots for debanking him based on accusations that he doesn't align with the bank's values.
So let's be clear. The decision to get rid of me wasn't financial. It was done because somehow I don't fit with their values. They were bailed out by us. They have a duty to run at a profit as a commercial business. But no, they are to be the moral guardians of all. And that's because the march through the public and private corporate sectors of left-wing institutions who want to change the way the world is, organizations like Stonewall, has led us exactly to where we are.
Farage's experience demonstrated the power of UK banks to arbitrarily strip anyone, even someone as well-known and well-connected as him, of one of life's most essential utilities, without even having the courtesy to explain why, unless their hand is forced by a subject access request. And his testimony inspired other victims of debanking in the UK to come forward and shine a light on the pervasiveness of this chilling practice. Reverend Fothergill, a retired Anglican vicar from Windermere, Cumbria, claimed that Yorkshire Building Society told him his account would be closed after he protested against the company for allegedly pushing, quote, LGBT ideology. Yorkshire Building Society responded to the allegations by stating that it had adopted a, quote, zero-tolerance approach to discrimination, and arguing that its relationship with the vicar had, quote, irrevocably broken down. Henrik Overgaard Nielsen, a former member of the European Parliament, revealed that his Metro Bank account was closed while he was serving as an MEP in January 2020. Nielsen said he received no explanation for the closure, even after making a formal complaint. Professor Leslie Sowers, the Equalities and Human Rights Commissioner for Scotland, said that Royal Bank of Scotland, which she had been banking with for over 32 years, closed her account without any explanation. Even the current UK Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, has been affected by the wave of debanking that's plagued the country. Before he was appointed Chancellor, Hunt reportedly told colleagues that the online bank Monzo had refused to provide him with an account. And these are just some of the many examples of financial deplatforming that UK citizens have shared since Farage pulled back the curtain on this practice. This recent spate of debanking comes less than a year after several other prominent UK groups and individuals were financially deplatformed by the US tech giant PayPal. In September 2022, the PayPal accounts of pro-free speech group the Free Speech Union, news website The Daily Skeptic, and the founder of these sites, Toby Young, were shut down. At the time, Young said he suspected the account closures were because someone at PayPal, quote, isn't very keen on free speech, and that, quote, the resulting loss of revenue will be hugely disruptive. PayPal didn't address the account closures directly, but said,
achieving the balance between protecting the ideals of tolerance, diversity, and respect for people of all backgrounds, and upholding the values of free expression and open dialogue can be difficult, but we do our best to achieve it.
On the same day that Young revealed PayPal had closed these accounts, the UK parents group Us For Them revealed that it had also been deplatformed by PayPal. The group said that after the ban, it was unable to access thousands of pounds in donations. Us For Them's founder, Molly Kingsley, said PayPal had provided, quote, No prior warning or meaningful explanation for the account closure. Kingsley added,
It is extremely hard not to draw the conclusion that this is a politically motivated cancellation of an organization that in some way offends PayPal.
Young's PayPal accounts were subsequently reinstated, but Us for Them's account is still banned. The UK government is reportedly, quote, deeply concerned about the flurry of financial censorship in the country, and the Treasury is expected to tell banks that they must protect free speech. Yet while the government claims to be worried about financial blacklisting, it has spent almost a decade pushing technology that will allow this practice to become even more prevalent. The Bank of England has been discussing digital currencies since 2014 and proposing that central banks may issue central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, since early 2015. The UK government issued a call for information on digital currencies in 2014 and has been considering CBDCs since 2017. And PayPal, the company that deplatformed multiple citizens, has worked with the Bank of England and UK Treasury on a CBDC. CBDCs are a nightmarish financial censorship tool that allow governments and central bankers to fully control what you buy and own. This control is achieved by programming the currency, and the Bank of England is a big fan of this programmability. In 2021, Sir John Cunliffe, a deputy governor at the bank, lauded the way CBDCs could be programmed to restrict purchases, and gave the example of a CBDC being programmed to prevent the purchase of candy. Tom Mutton, the Bank of England's fintech director, who is responsible for the UK's CBDC, has also acknowledged that CBDC programmability could result in a, quote, restriction on people's freedoms. When looked at in the context of the recent financial deplatforming in the UK, this programmability is alarming. Instead of employees at the bank deciding whether to close accounts on an individual basis, the deplatforming could be programmed into the currency at scale and automated. CBDCs also have very little privacy when compared to cash. While cash is anonymous, CBDCs are either pseudonymous, meaning transactions are linked to a non-personal identifier, or identity-linked, meaning transactions are linked to a person's identity. The UK's CBDC head has made his disdain for financial anonymity clear by describing anonymity as, quote, a public policy problem and something that should not be allowed to continue. He's also confirmed that the UK's CBDC, the digital pound, won't be anonymous. Not only will the digital pound strip users of the ability to transact anonymously, but reports are indicating that it may also have digital ID features that could verify a person's age and citizenship status and control the purchase of age-restricted items such as alcohol and cigarettes. And this year, the government and Bank of England have accelerated their CBDC work. In February, the government said, quote, a digital pound is likely to be needed, and launched a consultation on a CBDC, which ran until June 30th. In June, while this consultation was still ongoing, the Bank of England awarded its largest CBDC-related contract to date to Kin & Carta, a consultancy firm for the creation of a, quote, CBDC sample wallet proof of concept and research. The Bank of England and the Bank for International Settlements, an influential international organization that's owned by 63 central banks that account for around 95% of world gross domestic product, also participated in a joint CBDC experiment in June, while the CBDC consultation was still in progress. This experiment produced 33 application programming interface functionalities, which would allow public and private institutions to interact with a retail CBDC, and looked at over 30 retail CBDC use cases. After the UK CBDC consultation closed, reports revealed that it had been hit with a wave of backlash from members of the public who were concerned about the way the digital pound would erode their privacy. But despite the public making it clear that they don't want a CBDC, the UK government and Bank of England are continuing to push the digital pound. They now intend to spend the next 2 to 3 years on a design phase for the digital pound and could launch this CBDC before 2030. The UK government may talk a big game when it comes to opposing financial deplatforming, but actions speak louder than words. CBDCs are an Orwellian technology that's paving the way for a future where governments can fully control what you buy and where they can see every transaction. And as financial censorship has plagued the UK, the government has doubled down on CBDCs and continued to march towards the digital dystopia that they bring. Thanks for checking out this video report. If you support free speech, freedom from surveillance and digital civil liberties. Join Reclaim the Net. Become a supporter by going to reclaimthenet.org and sign up now.